Now, I know how some of you guys might feel right now. You keep hustling, you're saving, you're investing, but it's just never enough. And that's why I'm here to tell you guys that you're probably doing better financially than most average Americans. How do I know this? Well, I got 5 major signs and more importantly, statistics that say so. Now, just for starters, there's credit card debt, which not enough people talk about. They feel like it's just taboo or bad manners to talk about debt. Or maybe they just feel like it's a shameful thing to have credit card debt, something that most financial planners say is a no-no. But let me tell you guys, especially those of you guys who are carrying some credit card debt right now, it's totally normal. Check this out.
There's definitely a stigma. Yeah, we've done research. We found that people would rather talk about their weight, their political views, their religious views. They'd rather talk about a lot of sensitive things rather than credit card debt. I think we need to break down these walls, though, because one, a lot of people have credit card debt, more than a third of all US adults and almost half of credit card holders. So you have plenty of company. It's just so important to make this a priority. With an average interest rate over 20%, you can't hide from it. You have to work on paying it down as soon as possible.
So yeah, even though those personal finance gurus tell you otherwise, there's no shame in carrying credit card debt because everybody else has it too. But what you really need to do is to talk about it and actually start addressing it. True wealth is living within your means and having time to do the things that you enjoy when you want to do it. A reminder that true wealth is about financial stability, not appearances, balling out of control and trying to stunt on the gram. In fact, financial literacy and planning are key. Now, a big part of that is getting out of debt. But wait, before we continue with this, let's first address a big part of why people are feeling inferior about their financial status. So, social media, all right? Social media and the people's intrinsic need to compare. Humans have been comparing themselves to one another since the dawn of time. But thanks to social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, these comparisons, they're happening at an unprecedented scale and rate. And it's also having a very negative effect on our mental health. Now, I'm not immune to this myself. I always find myself scrolling at night and comparing myself to other people. And when I'm done, it's kind of hard not to feel bad. I mean, most of these people I don't even know and will probably never meet them in real life. But when I wake up, I pick up my phone and the cycle begins all over again. Just kind of scrolling forever. It's really a whole thing. People are spending more time on social media than ever before. 145 minutes. That is nearly 2.5 hours, guys. 2.5 hours a day on average. That's another statistic for you. And it's just human nature. I mean, basically, it was a primitive way of keeping ourselves safe, right? We want to know how we're doing compared to our peers to make sure we're not falling behind. But now, thanks to social media, we have access to people all over the world, which means social comparisons are taking place at an unprecedented rate and scale. Not to mention, we're also not just comparing ourselves to other people, but we're comparing ourselves to optimized versions of other people with all the edits, the filters, the Facetunes, the Photoshop. Yeah. Basically, the game is rigged. Now, I got personal finance gurus who are just bragging about their new Porsches. But you know what? A 2022 study by Experian showed that a lot of wealthy folks don't actually drive fancy cars. Yeah, people with household incomes of more than $250,000 a year, a lot of them are driving Toyotas, Fords, and Hondas. So there's actual financial status, and then of course there's just appearances. It's really important to differentiate between the two. So if you're going to compare yourself to other people, you need to get the whole picture. There's about 1 billion people that live on this planet that live on less than $2 a day, guys. But yeah, let's be real. The cost of living right here in the United States isn't exactly cheap, right? I mean, especially with inflation. So really, it's more about what you put away than what you do with it. So you might see those guys driving Bentleys on Instagram, but in reality, he may actually feel poor because he has to pay for his fancy lifestyle every single month just to keep up. Some of these guys are paying $7,000 a month just for a car payment. Is it worth it? Depends. It's up to you. Yeah, I really don't see that as financial freedom or success. But what about you guys? Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. By the way, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Never be caught off guard by another very expensive home repair again. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below. But really, it's not about what you make. Never forget that. It's about what you keep. This statement is key to building wealth. But yeah, there are times that you could feel really demotivated and low and convince yourself that your own achievements count for nothing and that everybody else is doing a better job at life than you are. But that's not exactly true. And remember, guys, we're not alone. You have our Financial Freedom fam right here cheering you on and praying for your dream of financial freedom to come true. And about social media and comparing ourselves, it's there and it's not going to go away. I mean, sure, you could delete your social media apps, but you might miss out on the benefits as well, like, connecting with friends and family. And some comparison isn't that bad, right? Especially when it motivates you to do better. But realistically, this is not what's going through your mind late at night when you're looking at those rich people selfies, am I right? Well, you could always be strategic about who you follow. Think Marie Kondo. Anyone who doesn't bring me joy or makes me inwardly go, ugh, they get muted or unfollowed. It's one way to stay connected, to keep inspired and filter out the bad bits. Now, of course, you should always take some breaks as well from the apps. And, when you do go online, you should always keep in mind that what you're seeing isn't necessarily real. These are highlights of people's lives. This is not the real deal. And don't forget to connect with your friends. Do things that actually give you a sense of fulfillment or leave you feeling energized. We all grow at a different pace, so we're all going to reach different milestones at different times, different ages. Something that you need to bear in mind, though, the next time that you and I go scrolling, right? Now, speaking of healthy content that energizes, if you guys like what you're hearing, what we're talking about right here, don't forget to show your support, drop a quick like for the video, and also subscribe to the channel. That way you can be officially a part of the Financial Freedom fam, all right? Totally free. Another thing that most people often overlook is personal health. Now, I'm telling you guys, it's totally underrated how taking care of your health is a great investment. Save yourself thousands of dollars on medical bills and also get to compound your earnings potential by living longer and just being more productive with a healthy lifestyle. I mean, I was just talking about this with an older relative. At 62 years old, started eating right, kept working out at the gym, doing exercises, targeting strength for older age, especially hips, legs, back, shoulders, etc. Now he can continue to work and earn good money doing a physical job that he enjoys. He said he's going to do it for another 4 or 5 years before his nurse wife and he retire. Then he was telling me about some of his high school friends, similar age, some of whom were already retired either by choice or by circumstances. Many are starting to look weak, feeble, frail, hunched over while walking, etc., in their early 60s. A few unfortunately have passed away either from cancer, heart attack, heart issues, bad choices, whatever the case may be, and many of them were actually doing well financially in their lives. Now they'll never enjoy their golden years. So yeah, good health, good physical health for you and for your loved ones is probably more important than anything else if you think about it. And if you don't have that, material things that you possess, they don't really matter as much, right? Now let's talk about some more signs to kind of help you figure out where you fit financially compared to the rest of the country. If you have more than $4,500 in savings, more than half of Americans, 51%, have $5,000 or less stored in a savings account. 35% had $1,000 or less saved. And the median amount Americans have tucked away is $4,500. Now that means that half of Americans have more than that amount and half have less than that amount. So give yourself a pat on the back if you have at least that much saved. Then get to work saving even more. Number 2, you have more than $30,000 in your 401k. Now, this is according to investment firm Vanguard. The median amount that Americans between the ages of 34 and 54 years old have saved in their defined contribution plans are as follows. Age 34 through 44, $36,117. Ages 45 through 54, $61,530. Now, if you're in your mid-30s and you have more than $36,000 in your 401k, you are already doing better than most of your peers. Now, is that enough? Many Americans are living a long retirement, so you should definitely err on the side of caution on this one. Save a lot of money so you'll have enough cash to see you through your golden years. Some experts have suggested saving twice your annual income by age 35. You can also check with a financial advisor, a legit one of course, not one of those people trying to sell you anything, and make a plan to prepare financially for retirement. And hey, it is never too late to start saving for retirement, right? But the sooner the better, right? Especially if you begin at a young age and you have, a little bit of luck on your side, you might even be in a position to retire early. Number 3, you can cover an emergency of more than $2,000. So 47% of Americans, they have an emergency fund that they can tap into if they need money suddenly. Now, the median amount in this type of account is $2,000. Now, a lot of people have a lot less, like just a couple $100s. So can you say that you can cover an expense of more than $2,000 the next time one pops up? If you can, that means that your finances are probably more secure than many of those Americans that are out there. But even if you have more saved than most, you might want to consider putting even more away. Many experts recommend having enough money in emergency funds to cover at least 3 months worth of expenses. Some even go as far as 6 months to a year. Now, if you aren't quite at that level yet, don't worry guys, but don't stop saving either. All right, so number 4, you have less than $6,500 in credit card debt. The average American adult holds $6,569 in credit card debt. So if your number is less than that amount, consider it better than most. Now, I think you've already heard this before, but by the third quarter of the year, total credit card debt in the United States stood at $925 billion, which is a $38 billion jump from the first quarter. Now, I'm not telling you guys to keep racking up that debt. I want you guys to feel better knowing that you're not alone in that credit card debt boat. I think it's more of a matter of keeping that debt as low as possible going forward, especially if you plan to retire soon. Now, I don't have to tell you guys, fixed income can make it harder to pay down debt, especially credit card debt. The longer you go without paying off your balance, the faster the credit card debt can spiral out of control. Ask me how I know. So get to working on paying down the credit card debt as soon as possible. Some companies offer to assist you in consolidating your debt into one low monthly payment. Best of all, there are 0 fees until your debt is resolved. And you could possibly be debt free in like 24 to 48 months. But you got to make sure to read that fine print and all the hidden fees. Number 5, your total net worth is at least $100,000. So basically, assets minus liabilities, what you own versus minus what you owe, that's your net worth. It could be a very useful calculation for anybody who wants to understand where they stand financially. To calculate your net worth, find the total cash value of any property, jewelry, cash, investments, insurance policies, and other assets. Then subtract any debt, such as mortgage loans, student loan debt, credit card obligations, car loans. Whatever is left is your net worth. Now, according to the Federal Reserve's 2019 survey of consumer finances, the most recent survey, median net worth for Americans ages 35 to 44 stood at $91,300. Now, for Americans between the ages of 45 and 54, that number was closer to $168,600. But the net worth is not the only way to measure your financial success. So if your net worth isn't over $100,000, don't panic. Just think of it as a guide to which areas of your financial life you need to kind of work on if you want to meet all your future financial goals. Now, I don't know if you guys heard this quote before, but comparison can really be the thief of joy. You may not have crossed off all the things that we talked about today, but hey, you're doing better than you think, I'm pretty sure. Plus, you got time. You can always set new financial goals and empower yourself to take control of your financial future. Something like, crush your credit card debt or start building a savings account, maybe even start a new business. It's not to keep up with what people are doing on Instagram. Do it for your own personal quality of life and peace of mind. If you guys made it this far in the video, do your boy a favor, drop a quick like for the video, also subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.